Red Nation, are we here? The best show for Chicago sports. Oh my God!
What is good, Chicago? It's your boy Pat the Designer back at it again. Appreciate you guys for tuning in and rocking with us for another edition of the Morning Breeze, brought to you by the Windy City Breeze. Got a lot to get to on today's show. Got to talk about our keys to a Chicago Bears victory over the Jacksonville Jaguars here in London, or there in London, I guess would be, because I'm still here. Also, we got to hear from Kevin Warren and Ryan Poles yesterday. And listen, the Kevin Warren, we're going to have shovels in the ground. I don't know, man. 2025? I don't know. I don't know if I'm buying it. We'll see. Because the date is 10/10/2024. It's 6:34 in the morning. And where are we going to park? Let's go! Yeah. Appreciate y'all for tuning in and showing love to another edition of the Windy City Breeze Sports Talk Daily, the Morning Breeze edition. Appreciate y'all for tuning in and rocking with us as always, man. Listen, a lot to get into on today's episode. Think that after hearing Kevin Warren yesterday, bro, I'm still thrown off. I'm not going to lie to you. I am still thrown off after hearing Kevin Warren yesterday. I have no idea. The stadium's not getting built in Chicago. We'll get to that later. First, we're going to start off with our keys to a Chicago Bears victory. And then we got to talk about the whole Kevin Warren situation. We got to talk about Ryan Poles speaking with the media as well. Appreciate y'all for showing love, like I said. Listen, a lot to get into on today's episode. First things first, need y'all go ahead and do me a favor real quick. Need y'all to
come on. Push the button. Come on. Push the button. Come on, push the button.
Yeah, come on, push the button.
You heard what she said.
You heard what Sue Young said. Push the goddamn button, man. Stop playing with us. All right, let's jump into it. Our three keys to a Chicago Bears victory over the Jacksonville Jaguars. Listen, let's start it off here. I think that this is not going to be the cakewalk game that many people believe that it is going to be. I know that the Jacksonville Jaguars are a bad team, but I just think there are a lot of forces working against you in this game, mostly dealing with jet lag and stuff like that. As you can see, I don't know if you guys have heard a lot of the Bears media people over the last couple of days and stuff like that have gotten over there, but it is kicking their butts to be over there. So there is a factor, the human side of things, where you kind of got to take that into account. But I'll say this, my number one key here is come out with whatever energy you have and make sure that you give them your best shot early. Come out with whatever energy you have and make sure that you give them your best shot early, because this is a Jacksonville Jaguars team that you can absolutely break their spirit by hitting them straight out of the gate. This is a Jacksonville Jaguars team that you can destroy immediately by hitting them straight out of the gate. And I think that is one of the biggest things that the Bears sometimes don't do. That we've seen it a little more over the last couple of weeks, right? But the Bears haven't often enough, right? They kind of take their time. They come into the game, they're like, we're gonna feel this thing out. We're gonna figure it out for a couple quarters, and then we're gonna put our foot on the gas. No, start the game off with your foot on the gas. I think in my mind, right, if I see a Bears team that comes out aggressive, I think you can beat the spirit of this Jacksonville Jaguars team very early, because they know the team that they are right now. They know the deficiencies that they have. Heck, Trevor Lawrence knows the struggles that he's dealing with right now, and I think that if we're being 100% honest about kind of the direction of this team, it's going the wrong direction. And so in my mind, if you're going to come out here and give them your best shot early on, it could be a Mike Tyson type of situation here over in London. You come out with the haymaker early, boom. Hey, look, big run, right? So something that they felt like that they could stop, right? Something they felt like, hey, this team doesn't run the football well. We know that we can get after them in this aspect of it, right? We're on it. Don't worry about it. You hit them with a big run early, or you hit them with a screen pass that's able to break up the field early. You will crush the spirit of this Jacksonville team, and to me, that's the best scenario for you to be in right now with this kind of the situations that are stacked against you. Because if you let them keep this a game early on, they're going to have in their mind, we know how to do this. We know how to deal with the jet lag, and we know how to deal with the effects of flying across the pond to go over here and play a football game. This doesn't bother us. We've been here before. Now they're in our world. This ain't a home game for them no more. This is a home game for us now. I think that is kind of that's kind of my thing. Don't let them stay in the game, because I do think they're a dangerous enough team to win the game in this situation. But I don't think that here's what I mean. If this was here, I would pick the Bears to beat the Jaguars by a similar score to what the Panthers did. I think that the effects of flying over there and playing a game has that much of an effect on a team, right? But all that being said, you're the better football team anyway. So I still think the Chicago Bears get the dub. That's my number one key to a Chicago Bears victory. Hit them early, hit them often, get it done. By the end of the game, it won't matter if you're, feeling some of those effects. You know what I mean? I think that you come back down to earth at a certain point. But it doesn't matter if you're feeling some of those effects later in the game, if they're so beaten and battered that they're already out of the game. Appreciate y'all for tuning in and showing love, man. Hit that like button if you have not done so. Subscribe to the page. Shout out to the chat in the building, man. Who was first in the chat today? Jay Greer is in the first in the chat with a year. Appreciate y'all for tuning in, showing love, my guy. McMuffin said, yo, can you imagine if we kept Justin Fields, what pick we would have gotten from Miami or Tennessee right now? Pick we would have gotten from Miami or Tennessee. What pick could we have gotten from? I don't know what you mean by that. All Bears got to do, shout out to Alex Houston. All the Bears got to do is play football. I mean, Jaguars, Panthers, these teams suck. Bear dub. It's a little bit more here, right? If we're playing in Chicago, if we're playing here, I agree with you. If we're playing in Jacksonville, I agree with you. Coming over the pond, a little bit different. Charles Thomas said, don't jinx and Pat. Listen, if I'm the reason that the Chicago Bears lose the game, like, we got bigger problems going on in the world. You know what I mean? If it comes down to me being the answer, we got bigger problems going on in the world. Chirac fan said, your sup chat and Pat was good with you, my guy. Doesn't it feel good to have good press on the Bears? Yes, it does. It absolutely does. No, let's keep this thing moving along though, man. Key number 2 for me, get pressure on Trevor Lawrence again, early and often. Trevor Lawrence is having an absolutely abysmal season. I mean, I'm glad that the rest of the world has gotten to the point that I'm at. Welcome to, he's not a good number 1 overall pick. I'm glad that the rest of the world has gotten to the point that I'm at, where, hey, maybe we should focus on this guy that actually was drafted number 1 overall, who was supposed to be generational, who was supposed to be all of these things. And, he's not very good. By the way, over 100 in the chat. No Mr. Meaty this morning for the pump. Sorry about that, guys. I'm not giving them to you. I'm glad that the rest of the world has gotten to this point that I'm at, where I go, hey, y'all know y'all paid him $250 million and he is very, very mid. Y'all know that you put a lot of money in this guy's pocket and he does not contribute very often to winning. Do you know that the best game to his name is a game that he came back from an abysmal first half, where the reason he had to come back was because he threw 4 terrible interceptions? Like, kudos to him for coming back, but we know that's his best game as a pro, right? A miracle run. So what's the hype? And why aren't we talking about this guy? Why aren't we talking about what's going on with him? Meanwhile, Justin Fields, the 11th overall pick, this guy ends wars, flips table. Like, it's just so extreme one side to the other. But I say all that to say, listen, this is a quarterback that you can get to. This is a quarterback that that you can absolutely rattle very early. This is a quarterback that you can shake early. I think that if you get to Trevor Lawrence, it will cause him to have that matchup, like I said about many of these quarterbacks, where it is the quarterback versus this DB unit. And if you make that happen, I'm going to pick this DB unit more times than not, even with being a man down without Jaquan Brisker. I do think they'll test that side of the field probably, because usually Brisk and Tyreek are on the same side of the field. I think that's something you're going to have to keep an eye out on, especially with Brian Thomas Jr. I would expect them to try and put him more on Tyreek Stevenson than they do on Jalen Johnson, because the Bears play more sides. They don't have somebody just follow a receiver around, so they kind of play more sides. As your side is your side. I would expect them to try and put Brian Thomas on Tyreek's side as much as possible. And for you to try to attack that, because again, the big body situation, you don't have Jaquan Brisker over the top. Is that going to make a difference in that in that situation? Now you still got Kevin Byard back there, who is going to be impactful. You know, he's an absolute dominant force on that back end. But you know, when you look at kind of where the Bears' weaknesses have come, and there have not been many for this Bears team defensively. It has been when facing big body receivers. They've been able to move the ball down the field. And of course, a little bit with the run game, you know, some big runs, not major runs, but still some big runs that have really gotten away from you. So I think that this is, in my mind, this is a situation where if you get to Trevor Lawrence early and often, you can shake him. He'll throw some ducks up there for you to take the football away. I mean, he just will. He just will. He will give you as many opportunities as you need to take that football away. Here's the main thing about it too. If you force Trevor to start to have to move outside of that pocket, now he's opening himself up even more. Yes, he's not immobile. He's not an immobile quarterback, but he does not want to be running down the field, especially with this linebacker crew on him. I think this is going to be a massive game for Javon Dexter. We've talked about a guy like Javon Dexter a ton. You guys know how I feel about him. The clip went a little viral yesterday, right, of me saying, yeah, I think he's above Jalen Carter right now. I think that he's a better player than Jalen Carter is. Yurko believes he has a higher ceiling than Jalen Carter does, which is fine, right? But I think that when the situation is not perfect around Jalen Carter, we've seen Jalen Carter kind of take a step back. And yeah, I know everybody, well, he's getting double teamed every time up the field. You think they're not double teaming Javon Dexter at all? Like, you think it's just single one-on-one matchups every single play? By the way, there is a play out there where Javon Dexter went against an entire defensive line by himself and pushed them all backwards. So there's that as well. But my point in all of this is, I think it was Houston's, I should say offensive line. I think it was Houston's offensive line that he ended up doing that too. But my point in all of that is this. It's going to be a massive day for Javon Dexter, because if you can create that pressure up the middle, you will rattle Trevor Lawrence. If you can create that pressure in his face, you will force Trevor Lawrence right into the arms of Montez Sweat and or DeMarcus Walker. Take your pick on who you feel is going to be that guy there. Darrell Taylor is another name that you could bring up in conversation there. To me, this is one where continue to get that pressure up the middle. This should be the Montez Sweat game. This should be the breakout game for Montez Sweat, because I do think that it's going to be the first game where they go, you know what? Where a team, I should say, goes, you know what? we understand what a monster we have out there with Montez Sweat, but we also understand we're dead in the water if we get this pressure up the middle. I think this is where you start to see a heavy dose of double team for Javon Dexter, for Andrew Billings. I think this is where you start to see a heavy dose of double team on the middle of that line, and it's going to open things up for Montez Sweat. I mean, listen, this is a great situation for the Bears to be in coming into this game. It's a team that's just, they're not very good, and there's a ton of opportunity for you to go out there and dominate, man. Cruiser 2 said, made it through the hurricane, had to catch the show, man. Shout out and bear down. Blessings up to everybody that's down in Florida right now dealing with the hurricane, man. Blessings up to everybody that has to go through this. I mean, almost on a every other year or yearly basis. I mean, this one was absolutely nuts. Crazy part is my wife is supposed to be flying out today to go on a cruise, and of course, right, you got to get on the cruise in Miami. So man, just blessings down there, man. Blessings to all of you people who are, you know, having to deal with that, having to deal with homes being destroyed and stuff like that. I hope that you guys are all safe down there. And that I mean, if you had to, and if you could, that you got out of the situation before it was able to hit. But Cruiser, shout out to you, my guy. Appreciate y'all tuning in, showing love, man. If you have not done so, hit that like button, subscribe to the page. 102 on the YouTube side, man. Only 29 likes on the video, 74 on the Twitter side. If you haven't done so, retweet this mug over on X, man, and make sure that you're hitting that like button as well. 2 keys in, get pressure on Trevor Lawrence, hit them with your best punch early on. And my third key here, the blitz is coming. Caleb Williams, you have to deal with the blitz. Do not feel like, because this is the London game, because this is a prime time game. I hate that we're calling this prime time. Although it is 8:30 in the morning, you're the only one on. But you know, prime time is like, okay, I'm awake. What football's on? Jesus, here we go. By the way, we will be doing breakfast with the Breeze. So make sure that you pull up on us on Sunday for the watch party. We're going to be doing breakfast with the Breeze. We're all going to be in the studio. We're going to be reacting to the Chicago Bears. It's going to be a great time, dog. I can't wait. It's going to be so much fun. Just down there that early. And then I'll be doing the post game show at probably about 2:00 our time. So make sure that you tap in with us over on ESPN Chicago as well. All right, let's keep this thing moving along. Let's get to our final key of the day. Caleb, because this is a primetime game, I believe this is his first primetime game. That does not mean that you have to go out there and put the world on your back. That does not mean that you have to go out there and just, hey, here we go. We're moving down. It's on me. It's on this arm. That's the only way we're going to get the win. Keep it simple, stupid. That is the, and not calling Caleb Williams stupid. That is the theme of this season for me. At least where you're at right now. Keep it simple. Or I should say it how Waddle said that John Madden said it. Do simple better. That's a great way to say it. Do simple better. Because the one thing that I don't want this to become is all of a sudden you're trying to show off the gunslinger. You're trying to continue what you were able to do last week. What you were able to do last week was make the simple throws that opened up the deep throws that look phenomenal on tape. That's all you got to do. Oh, we did have Sunday Night Football. That's true. We did have Sunday Night Football. But he was terrible. He was kind of, yeah. You know what I mean? This is the first one where he's comfortable. I'll say that. This is his second primetime game, but this is the first one where he's, you know, probably feeling himself, coming off a 300+ yard game, coming off a multi-touchdown game. Yeah, you know I mean, like this is the one where you're like, hey, you know what I mean? All right, I figured out the NFL. I'm letting it fly. Just keep it simple. And it's not just Caleb Williams, right? Who else have I been saying that about the entire time? Shane Waldron. I don't need you to go out there and prove that you're an elite tactician. I don't need you to go out there and prove that you can dial up the best speed option plays you've ever seen. I don't need you to go out there and prove that, oh my God, I am the answer. I need you to prove that you can beat a very, very mediocre Jacksonville Jaguars team in a situation that is a little bit of an uphill battle for you, less than it is for them. That's all I need you to prove. Because when you start trying to get cute, when you start trying to, we got these guys on the ropes. Here we go. Let's do this. Like, I get it. If you're up 30 or 26-10 again, I'm all for it, right? Give me a little bit of that flus anger. Give me a little bit of that. Oh, we got beef. Go for 2. Oh, we got a problem here. Go for 2. Give me a little bit of that, right? I'm fine with that situation. What I don't want to see is you overthink this thing. And we know that the Chicago Bears have a propensity to absolutely overthink situations that seem very, very simple. Run the football well, take the check downs. They're probably going to stack the box because they don't want you to run the football well, because yes, they are a little bit better of a run defense than what we saw. Well, I'll say that they're a lot better of a run defense than what we saw in Carolina. So they're probably going to say, we're not going to let you run. We're going to make you very one-dimensional. The pass will be there. They are a horrible pass defense. The pass will be there. That doesn't mean you have to take the deep shot. That doesn't mean you have to force it. That doesn't mean that you keep it simple, because you know what? Simple got you 300 yards last week. Watching the tape back, making the simple throws, taking just what the defense gave you, that got you 2 touchdowns last week, no interceptions. Even when the pressure was in your face, even when the blitz was coming, right? Just a little, boop, he's right there. We're good. Don't worry about it. We got that blocking on the outside. We got our man. If the Bears do that, we come out of this game, in my mind, with a 24-17 victory. And I don't think that you could wish for anything more. I don't think you could hope for anything more. Again, if this is in the States, if this isn't over the pond, I think this Bears team could win this game 35-13. Different environment, different situation, different playing field. I want to know what the field is going to look like as well. That's always a concern of mine. Whenever we play these overseas games, or we play the international games, I'm always concerned about what's this field going to look like. Now, they've been doing it over there for a little while, so we've seen kind of the conditions over there be a little bit better, but you never know. Also wonder what the weather is like over there today. That's going to be interesting to see on Sunday as well. Doug K said, Caleb, 250 passing, 2 touchdowns. We need to rush for at least 80 yards. Use that O-line to run block. Yeah, no, 100%. And especially with an O-line that, it feels like Tevin's probably going to get back out there, but are you going to see a little bit out of Bill Murray? Are you going to see more out of Matt Pryor? Yeah, I mean, I'm assuming nothing's happening to Pryor. We've heard nothing about a fine or anything. So I'm assuming they were like, you rejected. That's pretty much what you're dealing with there. So, yeah, I mean, I would assume he's going to be fine to play at this point. Nobody has said anything. Of course, because of the scuffle that they got in last week, he ended up throwing a little shot out there. Nothing has come of it. Take what you can. Take what you can. Hey, we're going to take a quick break, and then we're going to come back on the other side and react to what we heard from Kevin Warren and Ryan Poles. Kevin Warren talking about the stadium. Ryan Poles talking about his young quarterback. Some interesting quotes out of this press conference. And, of course, another comparison to Jaden Daniels made. We'll talk about all that and more right after this. In Bears Nation, it's your boy Pat, the designer from the Windy City Breeze, where we keep it 100 about everything Chicago Bears. Now, if you're like me, you don't just watch the game, you live it, and that's why you need to check out BetDSI. BetDSI is where it's at if you want to put your money where your mouth is. They've been doing it for over 20 years, giving you the best odds, lightning fast payouts, and a platform that's as solid as the best O-line. Whether you're betting on the Bears to take it all the way or making clutch live bets during the game, BetDSI has you covered. And here is the kicker. Just because you're rolling with the Windy City Breeze, BetDSI is hooking you up. Sign up today with the promo code WCB, and they'll give you 120% bonus on your first deposit up to $1,000. That's free money, folks, to make sure that you're winning as you back our boys in the blue and orange. So what are you doing? What are you waiting for? Head over to betdsi.eu, use the code WCB, and start turning your Bears passion into serious cash. BetDSI, where real Bears fans get it done. Appreciate you guys for tuning in and watching the show. Today's episode of the podcast is brought to you by Aura. Have you ever done a Google search on your own name? You'd be surprised what pops up. Your full name, email address, home address, health records, your relatives. It's all out there. And that's why I've been using Aura, the sponsor of today's video. Aura shows me which data brokers are selling my information and automatically submits opt-out requests just for me. Cleaning up my information not only helps reduce the amount of spam I get, but it protects me from hackers who could use that information to help them access my social media, bank accounts, and other sensitive information. It's really simple to set up. I don't have to download several apps or go to things like antivirus, VPN, password management, parental controls, identity theft, but you can get all of that in one place with Aura. I get everything at one affordable price as well. You may already have one or two of these tools, but not having Aura is like leaving the front door locked while leaving the back door and windows wide open. For you to be able to take advantage of Aura, we got a special deal for you here today. Stop data brokers from exposing your personal information. Go to my sponsor at https://aura.com/the Windy City. Again, that is aura.com/the Windy City to get a 14-day free trial and see how much of your information is being sold. Welcome back. Appreciate y'all for tuning in and showing love to another edition of the Morning Breeze, brought to you by the Windy City Breeze Sports Talk Daily. As always, man, I'm your host, Pat, the designer, back at it again. Appreciate y'all for tuning in and showing love. You have not done so, hit that like button, subscribe to the page, man. Leave that 5-star review. Y'all know what to do. Got a lot more to get into on today's episode, because we got to hear from not only Ryan Poles, but also Kevin Warren yesterday. And I mean, listen, the Ryan Poles portion of it, I was absolutely fine with. I mean, listen, I love the fact that Ryan Poles is still so confident in what he's seeing out of Caleb Williams and this Bears team overall, because I agree with a lot of the sentiments that he had to say. He said yesterday, I see a team that is learning, adapting, growing, and improving week by week. I've been very happy with the high level of communication from player to coach to player, to find solutions and find ways to improve every single week. And sometimes in the league, that's hard. And I agree with that, just looking at what we see this year based on what we dealt with last year. Right? You had a head coach this season who was willing to come in and say, "Hey, listen, Shane, step into my office." What is that? We never want to see that again. You had a head coach that was willing to come into to ruffle some feathers, in a sense, right? You had a head coach who is not going to just sit by like he did a little bit with Luke Getsy and say, "Yeah, this is just gonna do whatever it does. We'll figure it out, but I got the defense right." You also had players that were willing to go to the coach and say, and I'm going to be real with you, the more that I hear about this, the more that I'm wondering how much this was geared toward the fact that Nate Davis kept getting out there while literally everyone could see, hey, this guy sucks. I really do wonder that. I'm not saying that that is the case. I'm not saying that I've heard that that is the case, but I do wonder, how much of this situation with Kevin Warren was, or I'm sorry, with Shane Waldron was the players going to him and going, listen, you can't keep throwing this guy out there when there's other guys that are really, looking to be coached, that are looking to be held to a certain standard, that are looking to go out here and give it their all, and you keep putting him back on the field. This can't be that. I really do wonder how much of that played into it, but maybe I'm reaching on that one. I'm not going to sit here and tell you that that is the absolute thing that happened there, but it feels a little weird that after the meeting, we don't see Nate Davis again. That feels a little interesting, especially versus the Panthers. You go to Bill Murray. Feels a little odd. That's all I'm saying. But I say all that to say, this is a dynamic with this team that we did not have last year. This is something that is new. This is something that is improved. And I agree with Ryan Poles when he says that he's pleased on it. I understand why Ryan Poles is excited about that, because you've got a team now that you haven't had doing this winning thing this early in the season. We haven't won this early in the season in 4 years. I don't even know if 4 is right, because we got off to a losing streak to start 2021, 2020. So maybe 5 years. Insane work. Insane work. You haven't gotten off to a start this good in 5 years, I believe. And by the way, it's a 3-2 start. It's not the end of the world. Like, you're dominating out here. It's a 3-2 start that you probably should be 4-1 in. But it's a step in the right direction. It's a continued step in the right direction. It's a step that, in my mind, if you continue to take steps like this, we won't just be talking about this Bears team being a contender for the playoffs this year. We'll be talking about this Bears team being somebody that might be dangerous heading into the playoffs this year. So you still got, listen, there's still a long way to go. There's still a long way to go. I'm not saying that there isn't. But you have a team that's willing to do the work and willing to communicate enough to be there. You have a team that's not worried about ruffling feathers. 2020, we were 3-0. Shout out Crimson on the update on that one. So 4 years ago. Oh, that's right. Nagy kept losing, like, what did he lose? Like 5 games in a row or something like that? He kept having like that midseason, like, we suck for a month and a half. I thought something else that was interesting that Ryan Poles said about where this team is at is it's not just the coaches. It's not just the head coaches, I should say. Because he said from scouting to coaching, we all have philosophies, but at the end of the day, it's about the players and putting them in positions to be successful. So just identifying where Caleb's at in his process. Do we need to slow it up? Do we need to speed it down? I don't know what that means. Slow it up or speed it down? That's the same thing. Do we need to make decisions like getting into no huddle and tempo situations so he can get into a rhythm, changing up the cadence, different things like that? His ability to adapt on the fly has been impressive as we've gone. This is an organizational thing to try and get this right. And it's not an ego thing anymore. That's what it felt like with Luke Getsy. That's what it felt like with Luke Getsy. Ego. Hey, Luke, I don't know if you know this or not, but your young quarterback is struggling to stand there just in the pocket and take pressure straight to the face. Pause. He probably needs to get out and move the pocket a little bit. Do you want to make an adjustment in your game? Nah, he's good. Nope, he got it. Nope. There it is. We're good. I like that Shane Waldron and this organization was willing to have the conversation with him. Players, Ryan Poles, Matt Eberflus, everybody willing to go, hey, Shane, come here. Come here, Shane. Come here. What you doing? What you do? You want me to rewind that real quick? Let me run that back real quick, Jim. Yep. Play. What was that? I like that the organization is all in on Caleb Williams being this guy, being the answer. I like that the organization is all in on figuring out, okay, how do we get Caleb to this point? Because it shows me that there's an understanding that this is your shot. It's not another. It's not you get multiple quarterbacks, you get multiple head coaches, you get multiple. No, it's not that. This is your shot. This is your guy. You get this wrong, we all are in trouble. And so for me, seeing kind of where this organization is at, seeing that it was willing to pivot off of what it was doing in the first 2.5, 3 games, that gives me a little more confidence. 2.5, two games. No, first 3 games. That gives me a little bit more confidence that you're going to get things right. And I hope that we keep moving in this direction, man. I'm excited for where this Bears team is going. Ryan Poles, of course, is excited by the progress that Caleb Williams has been able to make. I'm excited by, dare I say, even the coaching staff. When is the last time you could say you've been excited by a coaching staff? At least me. Like, I'm excited by the fact that I'm seeing Matt Eberflus be a head coach. I'm excited by the fact that I'm seeing Matt Eberflus be one of the best tacticians in the league, albeit at the defensive side of the football, but one of the best tacticians in the league. I'm excited that I'm seeing Shane Waldron look at his offense that he's designed, that he runs, and go, we ain't there yet. Let's run something different. Let's switch this up a little bit. I'm keeping my tight end screens, though. Dang it, Shane. It's the only thing I need you to get rid of, dog. There's no point ever to run a tight end screen. I really want to ask him the logic of it. I really do. There's nothing I want to ask more than the logic of the tight end screen. And you know what else I thought about? I actually thought of a way that I probably would be okay with the tight end screen, and we don't even run it that way. Right? Like imagine this, if you will. Imagine you run the tight end screen with Mercedes Lewis. Well, you have Gerald Everett receive it, right? And you have Mercedes Lewis, you have Cole Kmet, and let's say you have a lineman report eligible, right? A Dougie Kramer's over there. You know the screen's coming. There's no question about it. There's a screen coming, right? But it's a tank running in front of you. I almost could deal with a short yardage tight end screen in that situation, right? You're on a 4th and 3. You need to just plow through some people to get over it. I'm almost fine with it in that situation. Outside of that, why are we running tight end screens? Why are we doing this, dog? We don't need this. Nobody wants this. But here's my thing to finish off, reacting to Ryan Poles' press conference. If you have not done so, hit that like button, subscribe to the page, leave a 5-star review. Y'all know what to do. While I don't agree with everything Ryan Poles has done for Caleb Williams, I don't agree that you should have neglected the offensive line. I don't agree that, you should allow your quarterback to be one of the most sacked quarterbacks in the NFL. And I think that at least not even taking a swing at it, like I almost can deal with a Jaguars situation where you at least took a swing at it and guys just like, you're like, well, this didn't work. I can almost deal with that. But you're going after guys that have done it at a high level, not the backups, right? Not the guys that just got cut. I would really love to kind of get in the mind of where that comes from, why you would go that route. But I say all that to say there are points that I don't agree with Ryan Poles. But I do think that we have the right leader of this team. I do think that we have the right culture on this team. I do think that we have a team that can find a way to grow in the right direction consistently. I'm confident in that. And I think that starts from the top down. Are there things I would have done different? For sure. But at no point is it not in Poles we trust. At no point is it not, I think that this is the guy that can lead us there, that can get us to that vaunted Super Bowl that we've been wanting for forever, dog. Like, I do think that he's that guy. And I think you're in a great spot right now by having him as the GM of your team. And it was good to hear him speak yesterday at the podium. And then Kevin Warren came on. Yeah, now we got to talk about that. Appreciate y'all tuning in, showing love. Hit that like button, subscribe to the page, leave a 5-star review. Y'all know what to do. Make sure that you guys hit that like button if you have not done so. Hit that notification bell, I should say. You get notified every single time the Breeze goes live. You'll get notified every single time we drop a video. I'll also say this: if you have not done so, make sure that you tap in to the Chicago Bulls Breeze. I've been posting over there a lot of Chicago Bulls content, a lot of Chicago Bulls updates and stuff like that. If you are a Bulls fan and you have not subscribed to the Chicago Bulls Breeze, make sure to go tap in with us over there as well. And Kevin Warren came on and spoke. And listen, I think that Kevin Warren will get the stadium done. I think when the stadium does get done, it will be a beautiful stadium. Pat, why do you believe that? Because I've seen him do it. I've got a track record of this guy being successful in that. But this want and need to build the stadium downtown is asinine at this point, in my mind. This want and this need to put this stadium downtown is mind-boggling to me at this point. Because there's just they're not even bringing it up at Congress. They're not even bringing it up in Springfield. We haven't even gotten to the point where they're bringing it up. We haven't even gotten to the point where they're willing to have a conversation on giving you the money that you think you're supposed to get from the state. And I love the fact that you keep throwing, we're still the biggest landowner in Arlington Heights out there. I love that. I love the fact that you keep throwing that out there. But being the biggest landowner in Arlington Heights and basically saying, hey, who knows what we'll do with the land? That doesn't do anything for me. And listen, at the end of the day, it is, you can go all the way down this road, and if it doesn't work out, you literally can then turn around and go Arlington Heights. I understand that. And I'm sure that you're working on, conversations and politicking on both fronts to try and keep things cordial over here, but also try and keep things cordial over here. But you're talking about spending $2.3 billion to build an enclosed stadium, and you're seeking $1.5 billion in taxpayer dollars, and you're seeking another $1.5 billion in public infrastructure. Now, the city has basically said they're all in with this. They're behind it. Mayor Johnson's like, we are doing it. If we can stop the Bears from leaving Chicago, we're going to stop the Bears from leaving Chicago. And I said this yesterday. I commend Kevin Warren for wanting to keep this team in Chicago, for doing everything that he could to keep this team in Chicago. But at a certain point, you got to flip the script and just say, it's not going to work. And maybe we're not at that point yet. And I thought it was very interesting what he said at the podium when he said, I want to make sure any decisions we make don't create any unintended consequences. At this point in time, and this was talking about selling stakes so that they could basically select a private equity firm and different things like that to help them with the financing. At this point in time, selling stakes is not something that we're focused on and exploring in Chicago. But I say that to say these next couple of months, my focus will be to make sure I truly understand how the private equity system would work in the National Football League. I will spend the next couple of months really digging deep into not only how it operates, but the financial implications, what happens down the road. Probably in about 2 months, I'll be more educated to say the impact of private equity not only will have on the NFL, but any of these stadium current projects. I love that he's doing his due diligence on every step of this, on every option to keep the team downtown. But let's be real. They won't even have the conversation in the state. I get it if we were having the conversations, and I'm not talking about Kevin Warren and Governor Pritzker. I'm not talking about, the combination of those two. I'm talking about to actually bring this up for a vote. They're like, that is the back burner, which I'm going to be real with you. If I'm running the state, it is the back burner. I don't care as much about the Chicago Bears. Now, what you don't want is to lose a multi-billion-dollar organization out of your city of Chicago. You don't want to lose that, but it's not like you're losing them out of Cook County. Arlington Heights is still a Cook County city, which you almost forget how massive Cook County is. I just think in my mind, right? And listen, I'm not a businessman. All I care about is parking. You give me parking downtown, don't care. You give me parking in Arlington Heights, don't care. I'm happy. There's going to be an indoor stadium. It's going to sit 60,000+ people, and there's parking there. I'm there. Bear down. Here we go. That's all I care about. But we shouldn't be freezing out here to watch Bear football. Bear football. Oh, God. This is bear weather, baby. Here we go. Oh, it's bear weather. We're freezing. We're in bear weather. And somebody just put up 50 on us. Bear weather. Zero Schlitz says, do you truly believe construction will start anywhere next year? Seems so unlikely. No. He's talking about having shovels in the ground in 2025. Now, I will say this. I can't say that, right? If I do believe there could be shovels in the ground by December 30th, 2025. I do believe there will be shovels in the ground by the end of the year, another full year away, 2025. Because I think at a certain point with this, no matter what, you got to make a decision here this coming year. And I know some people are like, well, they don't have to rush. They've got time at the stadium. They've got, you got to remember, this is costing, what did he say? $250 million a year? Or what was the figure he said? No, he said $2 billion a year, right? 250 million seemed way too low. See if I can find that real quick. But you have a team right now that, I mean, listen, like your pros are just over 2 billion. Stay focused. I was trying to see how much they lost. I can't pull it up right there. I get that. I get you're in a situation where you kind of have time, but at a certain point, don't you want to get out of this? You're not going to win. And then here's the biggest issue for me. You win the fight. Let's say you win the fight with the state. Now we got it. The state's in. Here we go. Boom. We're in. Hey, fat boy. That's very different numbers. That's very different numbers. You win the fight with the state. You get the money. That's hypothetical. They do it. You still got to win a fight with Friends of the Park. Which, yeah, you got the money. Here we go. Everybody's happy. Kumbaya. You still got to win that fight over there. That's the fight last time. The state was in last time. State's down. All right, we got the money. Boom, let's do it. Hey, New Bear Stadium, I'm all in for it. Rebuild. City's in. Y'all want a new stadium? Yeah, I love a new stadium. Hey, love it. Boom, let's do it. Rebuild. Friends of the Park. Hold up. Y'all ain't putting nothing over here. Well, we got the money already. What are we going to do? Let's land a spaceship on top of the columns and see how that works. It's such a, you got to fight on so many fronts to put a stadium down here. Now, listen, if you pull it off and there's parking, I'm here for it. Let's go. And I guess anything worth having is worth fighting for. But, I mean, it's a great comment by Nova. Friends of the Park told George Lucas that you can't build here. George Lucas wanted to put a Star Wars stadium in the heart of Chicago. Or I'm sorry, a Star Wars museum in the heart of Chicago. Do you know how much money that would have brought Chicago? Like, they're not budging for your stadium. And that's what I mean when I say you have to fight on so many different multiple fronts. Fatboy Choji said, Pat, what do you see happening first? Playoff win or the state? A playoff win easily. Playoff win easily. Bears might get a playoff win this year. Bears might get a playoff win this year. There's a lot of season left. This could be a very different Bears team by the end of the season. This might be a very different Bears team by the end of the season. So give me the playoff win easily. Hey, man, I got to get up out of here. I appreciate you guys for tuning in and showing love as always. Hit that like button, subscribe to the page. Leave a 5-star review. Y'all know what to do. We will be back live tonight, 6 p.m. So make sure that you're tuned in with us. The full Breeze crew in the building. We're going to be reacting to even more Bears news, predicting our thoughts for this game, and it's going to be a great time. You know, whenever we get the full team together, it's always great. I'm going to go check on JC because I guess he's dead. So I'm going to go make sure he's okay. And we'll be back on the other side. Appreciate you guys for tuning in and showing love. Nobody told you today. I love you guys, man. And make sure that y'all hit that like button on the way out. It's your boy Pat the Designer back at it again. Y'all stay safe out there, Chicago. Bear down. One love. Peace.
Are we here? The best show for Chicago sports. Oh my God!